We were sat here in the summer. Real Madrid seemed to have their ducks all in order. Meanwhile, chaos Barcelona. You had Messi's contract. We were laughing at Paulinho coming across from China. You had De La Feu playing up front. Yet everything just seems to have come together perfectly for the Catalans. And it must have shocked not only everyone in Spain, but in particular Barcelona supporters.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, we talked about this, as you said, in the summer. I remember sitting here in this very chair and literally listing the mistakes that Barcelona had made over the summer. And the list went on and on and on. And for them to be in this situation now has, you're right, it surprised everyone. In particular, it surprised Barcelona fans. It's been a huge weight off the shoulders of the president, who was under a huge amount of pressure. I mean, to put this into context, they lose Neymar. The day they present Dembele as the guy that kind of is there to replace Neymar, at least to try and kind of soften the blow of that departure. The day they present him, this is supposed to be a happy day. This is supposed to be them getting something right at last in a summer that's been pretty disastrous for them. The fans chant for the president to resign. On the day that they're presenting this guy, they've obviously then what happens is Dembele plays against Getafe. I think it's only his second game of the season, and he gets injured, so he hasn't played yet. So, you know, you're talking about Coutinho coming in, but effectively Dembele's a signing as well. And for Barcelona to be in this position really is quite extraordinary. It tells you an awful lot about the quality of the performances of Ter Stegen, about the quality of performances in particular of Leo Messi, but also something we said in the summer. If you're in a position of difficulty, of pressure, potentially of crisis, of lots of mistakes, there are very few men better to be in charge of your team than Ernesto Valverde. I think he's dealt with this with such tranquility and such kind of normality. I think that's been a really key reason why things have kind of settled and fallen into place.
You tipped Liverpool to finish in the top four at the start of the season. Yeah. Obviously, they're very much in that race at the moment. How much does losing Coutinho affect that?
Well, as much as... I'm not going to go over the solidified conversation that Nicola and I had, but as much as Virgil van Dijk has enhanced, you would imagine, their opportunity to get in that top four, you can take this away and some as a blow, because it's putting pressure on Lallana to come back fit. It's putting pressure on Sadio Mane, who's been very inconsistent this year. It's asking Mo Salah to continue that form for the rest of the season, because he's a game changer, Philippe Coutinho, and without him, although we know Mo Salah has stepped up to the plate, but the other guys are certainly going to have to step up between now and the summer if they are going to get in the top four. So it's a blow. Of course it is.
The top three, Liverpool's front three, are as good as you can get. And yes, losing Coutinho is a blow. But it also takes away a lot of options for Jurgen Klopp, meaning that they can't afford the inconsistencies, they can't afford injuries, especially in a tightening top four race. So it's a blow, yes, but I just feel Mo Salah has been that good and has established himself as certainly the on-the-field leader, the on-the-field go-to guy for Liverpool. They can cope. They can still finish the top four without Philippe Coutinho. A lot has to go right for them.
Of course, that's if they don't go out and spend some of it in January.
Yeah.
You know, they might go to Leicester City and say, how much do you want for Riyad Mahrez? They might go to Monaco. There's been talk about Lemar. There's a lot of players, teams chasing him. They may go and spend it before the end of January. I think the chances of that are slim, but it could happen, and that might be something. I don't know if Leicester or Liverpool would be interested in a play like that, but I certainly think he would enhance Liverpool. So it's a kind of wait and see between now and the end of the month.
The front page of Marca sums it up, doesn't it? 16 points. That's how far Real Madrid are behind Barcelona after that 2-2 draw against Celta Vigo. Sid, there doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel. We thought that maybe somehow it would kickstart the new year in style with Bale back. Of course, he got a brace, but same old Madrid. They just seem to be a bunch of individuals who've never played with each other before.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. And you look at that 16-point lead that Barcelona have over them, but it's deeper than that. They're 7 points behind Atletico Madrid. They're 5 points behind Valencia, admittedly with a game in hand on both of those two. To put this into context, they are as far away from Valencia as Eibar are from them. You know, this is a team with a stadium of 5,000 fans. And you're right that Madrid at the moment feel like they're falling apart. It was very interesting listening to Marcelo after the game the other night. He said, look, we're trying. We are running. It's not that we don't care. He said, but sometimes it just doesn't come off. And he said, and although this sounds strange, we don't know what else we can do. There isn't more we can do. We're doing everything we can, and it just isn't happening. And that sense of kind of impotence, I think, is really quite worrying. Now, we've talked about this a lot over the course of the season, and earlier in the season, you could make the case that Zidane kept on making, that the ball just wasn't going in. But bit by bit, and with those results going against them, it felt like things kind of fell away. And right now, I think we do see a side, I think, that mentally has started to disengage maybe a little bit from the league title, that I think possibly will be a different prospect in the Champions League for that very reason. But as Marcelo said, at the moment, they can't find a solution. And they were really terrible in the second half against Celta. You know, they got a 2-2 draw, but I think they can consider themselves really quite fortunate to have got that much.
Welcome to Extra Time. Let's get straight to it. First tweet. Craig, do you want to be in Shaka's commercial?
How much am I getting paid?
This, of course, is Shaka, who is flying off tomorrow to Trinidad and Tobago to be the star of a liquor commercial.
I'm going to appear in a commercial, yes.
It's only you in this commercial.
As far as I'm aware, as of right now.
5 days it's going to take to shoot this thing.
Well, I'm a difficult client.
Yeah?
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah?
What? Yeah.
What are your riders? Have you got any riders?
Oh, what?
Riders is what celebrities put in their contracts that they must have, like, in their dressing room, like red M&Ms or anything like that.
No.
We can come if you like.
No.
What?
5 days to shoot a commercial.
5 days?
I'm difficult. That's all I can offer.
Can you give us any lines?
No.
You must be getting weighed in at Wind Council here.
No.
Getting weighed right in, here he is.
Sid Lowe is with us, as is Sid. Sid, can we see your dad? He's in the studio with you, and he in Madrid? Can you drag him across?
He is. I don't know if the camera can. I don't know if the camera can actually reach him.
We'll get him to stick his head in.
He's just sitting to the side of me.
Stick his head in.
Can stick your head in? Oh, here we go. Right.
Here we go.
He's going to say hello now. Look, there he goes. Oh, there's his head.
Wow, he's very short.
He's very short. He is very short.
Oh, your head.
No, he is standing up. He is standing up. He's a tiny man. He's like Mourinho, just a little bit. By the way, I wanted to.
Look at you.
Right. I was just wondering about this. It's taking 5 days for Shaka's commercial, which is being filmed in Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Presumably, if this was being filmed in Barnsley, it would take about 5 minutes.
Why do you hate Barnsley, Sid?
No, it's not, sorry, people from Barnes are going to be furious now. No,
Well, 2 of those days of travelling,
I'm in trouble, aren't I? I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered for that. I did work in Barnsley for a couple of years, so that's my excuse.
2 days of travel.
I'm sure you're not venturing to
I'm
Barnsley.
travelling all day tomorrow and travelling all day Sunday. It's a long way away.
Hold on. I was in the Caribbean in the summer, right? It's not an all-day travel to get there, and an all-day. It's not Australia you're going to. It's Trinidad. It's a direct flight. Trinidad.
From New York, there's no direct flights from Boston.
And who says he's flying? He's taking a cruise ship all the way.
You're cruising, Shaq. Yeah. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to film a 30-second shoot.
We'll pick the slack up.
Yeah.
Life. With Coutinho and Dembele, how will Valverde fit all of the attacking talent he now has, Sid?
Well, he won't fit them all in the team at the same time. That's the first thing. I mean, it's curious, isn't it? Because every time you look at the team and you try and work out where Coutinho goes in, well, I speak for myself, maybe you're not the same. But every time you kind of go through it, you completely forget that they've even got Dembele. And, you know, this is the guy that's been injured all season, so we haven't really noticed. They play very well without him. The answer is he doesn't, but it gives him options to rotate. It gives him the chance to rest Iniesta. It gives him the chance to rest Messi a little bit in a World Cup year. It gives him the chance to take some of the pressure off Suarez at times. So the question, though, I suppose, is if it's the European Cup final tomorrow and Barcelona are in it, who plays? Well, obviously, Coutinho doesn't. There's your problem solved because he's cup tied for the Champions League.
Good, there we are. Great point, Sid.
Oh,
well
for
made.
God's sake, get your dad in. He'll make more sense.
That took 5 days.
Listen,
I'm doing my commercials.
does your dad do short answers? If he does, get him on mic now.
Absolutely. But the thing is, it'll take.
That's what you're going to look like, by the way, in a few years.
It's going to streak.
Hey, what are you suggesting, Craig?
I know only too well.
Do Barcelona even need to keep chasing Griezmann, Sid?
Sid's dad, I think that's it.
Sid's dad.
Does Barcelona keep up to chase Griezmann? Sid's dad. Answer that.
Stop having a go at my son, you. Do they? No, not really.
No?
There you go. Was that short enough?
Oh, he's having a salt.
We sorted this out face to face.
So we've sorted it out. All we need to do is now sort out Marcotti's long answers.
That's it. Right, that's it. Do you want your dad to give a wave as a goodbye, Sid?
Come on, let's go. Wrap this up, Dad.
I don't know. Can he lean into shot and give him a wave?
I don't know.
Can you lean into shot and give a wave? I think he's going to try it.
Here we go.
Wave.
He's 3'4". He's 3'4".
Very smooth. Very good.
You've
Have a
got to
nice night and sit, Stan. Have a lovely trip, Shaka.
I will. We all will.
Bring us back something nice.
How's far down here?
I don't know what it's.
His shit got him down. Like, get down. Down, boy. Get down.
Me and Craig will be here tomorrow. 6 p.m. Eastern, ESPN News.
We'll pick up the slack.
It's Player Power Rankings time. This is a segment that gets Burley's blood boiling. How about those 3 Bs for you, Craig? Let's dive in. We've got a couple defenders in the mix this time, but let's start right at the top. Chito Immobile.
Yeah, he's having a great season. 4 goals for 4 goals. I mean, that's amazing. But yeah,
against anybody.
He's having a he's playing well. Pity that Italy won't be at the World Cup in Russia, but that's just good. Eric Lehigh, 2 goals for Forest. A great header when Arsenal didn't know what offside was, or couldn't mark him, or couldn't see him, or whatever. I don't know what it was. And then a wonderful volley that Lionel Messi would have been from. He's a great piece of skill from Lehigh, who has got Premier League experience. He's now playing the Championship, but doesn't. I mean, he wasn't even mentioned for the US squad. And the US were so good, they couldn't even win down in Trinidad. But he never made it. I don't know why. Maybe that's a story for another day. Virgil van Dijk, what a big debut for him. I don't think that's controversial. But people, you know, the US are not that good. You can't just overlook people. Great debut for anybody playing in front of your home fans. 75 million, gets the winner with that header. Merseyside derby, into the next round of the FA Cup. Not going to talk about Lionel Messi, because I'm fed up talking about him.
Lionel Messi.
Mbappe with a couple of goals. We know how big a star he is. What a great name.
I know. I love
it should be a gangster film.
It is very Peaky Blinders-y.
Is he? Yeah,
I like
I've not
it.
watched that, but I can see where I know where it is.
Exactly.
3 goals for him. Now,
Harry Kane, gonna Harry Kane.
He has, but there's been a lot of talk. I was listening to the UK radio on the way in, and he is something like 35th, and I might be wrong, in the Premier League list, I think it is, of highest earners. So Tottenham have to get their finger out and pay this guy. Harry Kane has also said, and has been quoted in the last 48 hours as saying, Tottenham need to start winning things. We need to start winning things.
No kidding.
That's piling more pressure on. There was a great performance and 2 goals from Sergio Aguero. No surprise there. But the link-up play with Gundogan, particularly the second goal, the back heel, was fantastic, and that's why those 2 get in it. And then I'm going to let you take the last one away.
Guido Carrillo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
He just made it. Where is Southampton's interested in this man? I'm not sure
Southampton's interested in him. Don't spoil his day.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Southampton can lure anybody these days.
Wow.
Oh, I said it. I said it. Sorry, Saints fans, or one in particular, because I think that's all they have left after this season. Thanks so much to Craig Burley. Continue checking everything from the Player Power Rankings right here on ESPNFC.com. On paper, it looked like a fixture that Arsenal should have taken care of when we're talking about Nottingham Forest, but instead it was them who go through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Craig, I heard from Paul Mariner, I heard from Janusz Mihalik, who said that they were kind of disappointed. It was almost disrespectful the way Arsenal treated this fixture, and that's probably why they lost. How do you view it?
No, I actually don't quite see it that way. I just think what it shows is that they haven't got the strength and depth of some, and some of these reserve players, younger players, experienced players not getting a game are not up to scratch. But I don't think, I wouldn't say it's disrespecting it, because
you still thought they played with the ambition.
Well, it's the way the FA Cup is treated now. I mean, if you look at Chelsea, for example, they did the same thing at Norwich and were absolutely abysmal and got away with it in terms of there's a replay. So that's what Arsenal trying to do. There's been a big fixture schedule over Christmas and New Year. They've got a League Cup tie on Wednesday against Chelsea. That's a double header. So, in all fairness to Wenger, he's factoring all that in. But you still need your guys to go out and play and perform. And as far as
this is a cup that they've been
success. I mean,
exactly.
He's hung his hat on this trophy in recent years. You know, as a reason why. That's, you know, a lot of people, respected people in the UK, say he should have walked after 1 or 2 of these recent FA Cup wins and went out on a bit of a high, but he didn't. He's continued to go on, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Arsenal lost. it's just the way the club is going. If you'd sit here and said to me, if Arsenal had a beaten Forest and you sat here and said, but is Wenger's time up? I would have said yes. Because I've not changed my tune from a year ago, 2 years ago. The man should have walked.
Only.
So I wouldn't go down the disrespecting it route. He put a team out he thought could win. Forest did a great job on them. They were a defensive shambles, and he did pretty much what Antonio Conte and one or two others did. Arsenal just got their backside bitten. That was the difference. Well,
you mentioned that midweek clash against Chelsea in the League Cup. Do you think they're going to approach this one differently then, especially now that they're out of the FA Cup?
Well, I hope so, because we're showing the game here in the US.
Exactly, so that'd be for good viewing.
On ESPN. So, and the other side of the coin is they're going to be using VAR for this game as well. And I know there's been some really contentious issues of late, but I'm hoping Chelsea and Arsenal put strong teams out. I think they will, and I think Arsenal will be somewhat pressured into doing that now off the back of the debacle at Nottingham Forest. So yeah, I think both will. Maybe Conte will make one or two more changes, bearing in mind he's got the Champions League to think about as well. But no, I think we'll see two strong teams, and in some sense it could be a way to alleviate some of the pressure for Arsenal over the two legs if they're to win, but not all of the pressure.
Not at all. All right, so fingers crossed for a good game against Chelsea. We'll see which one comes out on top. Looks like it could be the end of the road for Daniel Sturridge at Liverpool. Word is Liverpool are open to offers for Sturridge. Craig Burley is here with me on this one. Craig, we've heard him being linked with Southampton, with West Ham. Can he really at this stage resurrect his career, and at what level club do you see him going?
Well, I think he can, and I think he needs to. He needs to, in my opinion, get away from Liverpool now. I think it's quite clear he's only got a bit part to play under Klopp, and probably even less than that when they accumulate and put together all this money and go spend it probably in the summer. It's going to be even more difficult for Daniel Sturridge. A talented player, no doubt about it. That year he had in particular when Suarez was there under Brendan Rodgers, they really linked up well. But those days have gone now. Yeah. Liverpool are playing a different style. It's a more dynamic game. It's a more pressurised game. It's a quicker game, and it just doesn't suit Sturridge for 90 minutes. It might suit him coming on the bench, off the bench in a tight game, but it's not suiting him for 30, 40 games a year as a starting player. The problem he's got, and the problem Liverpool have got, is quite simple. It is who's willing to pay the money up front for a player who has had a very tough time with injuries. It would have to be incentivised for both salary and transfer fee. If everybody can accommodate that, then there will be some suitors. Therefore, a club's not taking, you know, if it's, say it's a club in the bottom half of the Premier League that's...
Do you think that's where he's more destined now, though, realistically, at 29 years old this year?
I think he could play to a better standard than that, but you know, I think he could play in a top half club in the Premier League absolutely easy, but it's whether they want some, it's whether the need, the desperation is there for one of these clubs. Look, the desperation, say like a West Ham. You know, I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm not saying he would fit at West Ham, but a club who probably going to be a relegation battle, have got a good bit of power and strength about them, but maybe lack a little bit of guile depending on what Arnautovic does. That kind of club might take a chance on an incentivised deal. If I'm 7th or 8th in the Premier League and I've no fear of going down like a Leicester, I don't think I would be taking a chance. So it's whether Daniel Sturridge and Liverpool are probably willing to take a deal that is based on appearances. And if they are, I think Liverpool would be quite happy to take a deal.
All right, well, West Ham seem to have taken a chance with a lot of other players from other clubs in the Premier League. We'll see. He has been linked to West Ham.
Has he been linked to West Ham?
He has indeed. So that's what they took a gamble on a couple other players. We'll see if that pays off. We'll see if Daniel Sturridge could be the latest addition to that team.